สวัสดีครับวันนี้พบกับผมนะครับพี่จาก Audio Force นะครับวันนี้เนี่ยเราอยู่ในห้องของ Exclusive ของ Audio Force นะครับวันนี้เราจะมาเปิดตัวสินค้าใหม่กันโดยที่เราได้รับเกียรติเนี่ยอันยิ่งใหญ่จากมิสเตอร์แม็กมอสอีกครั้งหนึ่งนะฮะในประเทศไทยเลยนะครับซึ่งคุณแม็กมอสเนี่ยมาจากประเทศฮ่องกงเลยนะครับเดินทางมาจากงานเครื่องเสียงประเทศฮ่องกงเดินทางมาเพื่อเปิดตัวสินค้าใหม่แบบ Exclusive แบบพิเศษเป็นแบบ private เลยนะครับโอเคซึ่งก่อนที่จะเข้าไปเนี่ยเดี๋ยวเรามาทักทายกับคุณแม็กซ์ก่อนแล้วก็เดี๋ยวเราจะเข้าคอนเทนต์กันเลยครับ Hi Max
Hey BB, how are you?
I'm fine and how are you?
I'm fantastic.
Okay.
Just recovering after the Hong Kong show. I came from Hong Kong show yesterday, which was excellent, and to see our friends in Thailand, and then I'm going to Taipei at the weekend for a show next weekend.
Okay. I heard that at the Hong Kong show for Fyne Audio is very successful.
Very, yeah. The room was always full. The demonstration was always really busy. So, and of course, I brought Dr. Paul Mills as well this year.
Dr. Paul Mills.
So,
yeah.
and as everyone knows, we set up Fyne Audio in 2017. Myself, Dr. Paul Mills, and some of the other guys, the 5 founder members of Fyne Audio. So, Dr. Paul Mills came this year. We did the Hong Kong show together. Very successful. We launched the Classic Gold SP range, and we covered the SuperTrax Super Tweeter as well. So, yeah, it was very good.
Oh, we heard that you speak about the Fyne Classic Gold SP series.
Yeah.
This is a new series?
It's a new series. Would you like me to tell you a little bit about it?
For before we introduce the new Fyne F703 SP series, please give some introduction about the new Fyne Classic Gold SP.
So the Classic Gold SP range is really a hybrid product that fits in exactly between the Classic and the Vintage. So we launched the Classic and the Vintage series in 2022, but it has been commented that there's actually quite a big jump in price from the Classic and from the Vintage. Both models have done incredibly well. They've both had 5-star press. People love them, but there's actually quite a big leap in price. So with the Classic Gold SP range, we have Dr. Paul really has worked the magic that he has done previously with the 500 series and the 700 series in making a special production product. So the Classic Gold SP range is a combination of parts that already exist. So the drive unit, the crossover, lots of components from the top vintage models, but actually put in not a standard cabinet from the Classic.
Wow.
It's actually an enhanced cabinet. It's made from the same birch ply as the top vintage model.
Wow.
But it looks like the Classic range. So it's phenomenal value for money. I personally think it's Dr. Paul's greatest achievement yet, and it's a little bit of a signature product as well. We've actually got Dr. Paul Mills' signature on the front of it.
Yeah.
The best value for money product for sure. So it's half the price of the Vintage, the top Vintage.
Yeah.
But it's certainly not half the performance. People keep saying, so how does it compare to the top Vintage models? And I say, it's probably about 75-80% as good as the top Vintage. The top Vintage model is still the best. It's like our F1 series. It's still the number one.
Yeah.
The top Vintage range is incredibly good, but it's also quite high in price, and not everyone can get there.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And people want a little bit more than the Classic range, the standard Classic range. So we've launched this hybrid product right in the middle, utilizing the good, better, best philosophy. We had good, we had best. Now with the Classic Gold SP, we have better. So it's really very good value for money. And I know that Audio Force have some on order, and you'll be receiving them maybe in 1 to 2 months now.
Oh, we hope we will have it as fast as possible. Because
maybe we could launch it at the show in November. Maybe we can show something.
Maybe it's a good opportunity.
Absolutely.
Also, the customer that have seen in the Munich show, you have shown it in the last Munich show.
Yeah, no, we introduced it. We launched the idea there, and well, you were there. You saw the excitement that everyone had. It's like, it's great value for money. The classic range and the vintage range have done incredibly well, but we really think we've hit the jackpot with the classic Gold SP range because it gives everything. It has all the advantages of classic and vintage in one package at a great price. So unfortunately, we're actually moving to a brand new factory in Scotland this year, right at the time when we've never had a bigger back order for a new product in the classic Gold SP. So the guys are really very busy at the moment, both moving into this new facility and launching the new range. But it's good to be busy.
Yeah, very good. So I need to thanks to Fyne Audio team and Dr. Paul to invented the magical new product for the Fyne Classic Gold SP because it fit in the middle.
Yes.
Yeah. So now customer can select from vintage classic, vintage gold classic, SP,
Yep.
and Fyne vintage.
I think so.
Yeah, it's
I think so.
Good price positioning.
Yeah, it gives like a path for people to take.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, so we're very excited about it.
Thank you for your information, Max. And now we coming to focus on the new system, the new product. And this is the first time in Thailand this is the first time that we launch the new F703 SP and the F702 SP
Yes.
with the new SuperTrax, the masterpiece super tweeters.
Yeah,
Would you please kindly give some the introductions
absolutely.
and explanation of the product?
So the 702 and 703 SP series were really born out of the original 7 series, which we launched in 2019. Yeah, and they've been very well received, very well reviewed. But people have always said, I would like a little bit more performance. Can I get F1 type performance out of
F1,
702? I love the look,
Yeah.
but could I get a little bit more performance?
The flagship one.
Yeah, so SP stands for Special Production.
Special Production.
So 702, 703 SP is made on the same production line as F1. So we've taken a lot of the technology, the components, the drive unit, the crossover, the F1 plinth, everything from F1.
Wow.
So, you know, when we launched the 7 Series in 2019, it was already very advanced with the cabinet. The cabinet was almost too good for the product. It was exactly the same as F1. It was a birch ply laminate construction. People didn't really realize at the time. So the cabinet was absolutely perfect. So, for example, if you look at the 703, which is a product that I actually use at home myself now, the 703 SP, you know, we've taken the 10-inch ISO flare out of the F1 product. You know, this is a titanium HF and Neotech cable, oxygen-free cable, full cryogenically treated, crossover, next-gen WBT. It has everything. As I said, the F1 plinth all uses our famous technology, you know, the point source drive unit, the fine flute, everything, you know. So really the original 7 Series was already of a very high standard, but we've turned the control up to number 11 now. It's really bringing this model up to F1 performance, but it's in a contemporary modern cabinet, you know.
Yeah.
Not necessarily everyone likes the look of the bigger vintage cabinet, and some people want something a little bit more contemporary than F1, but people have always loved the appearance of the 7 Series.
Yeah.
They just wanted a little bit more performance. So the SP version really delivers that in spades.
Yeah. Can we say that F1 inside is the Fyne F1?
It basically is an F1 inside, but obviously it has the advantage of a second bass driver, you know, or you know, a bass driver, a second drive unit, whereas the F1 doesn't. The F1's a little bit more purist, possibly a little bit more audiophile, but the performance level is as high. It just has a little bit more performance and is capable of a slightly higher sound pressure level, but still an audiophile, you know, performance. I mean, I use 2 speakers at home. I use the F18,
F18,
which is just a bit of a reference bookshelf speaker for people, and then I go on to I had the original 703, which I loved, but I kind of agreed with all our customers that were saying it's good, but could you make it a little bit better? Could it just be a little bit more like, an F1? So we did, and I can't decide which one I prefer. So 1 month I'll use my F1.8, and then another month I'll just go to the 703 SP. I guess it's an advantage of working for one of the best loudspeaker companies around. I have that choice. The 703 SP is fantastic. That's based on the 10-inch drive units. There's the 702 SP, and there's actually going to be, you don't even know this yet, but there's going to be a 701 SP bookshelf speaker, which is a contemporary looking version of the F1.8 stand mount. So it's very good.
And now we have the SuperTrax on the top of the speaker.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have the SuperTrax Super Tweeter. Now I have to point out it isn't actually the correct SuperTrax we use, because it should be a matching gloss black SuperTrax. They've just been launched. We don't have any in Thailand yet. They will be coming very soon. So what we've done, we've just put the walnut SuperTrax. So the 7 Series has a sloping top. So the SuperTrax has a little bit of adjustment on the back of it, so you can keep the level right. It's very important that you get the position of the SuperTrax on the top of the speaker exactly correct, because what we need to do is we need to achieve the acoustic center. So from the back of the throat of the IsoFlare drive unit to the SuperTrax here, you've got to get that lined up. We haven't quite got that here because, as I say, we just don't quite have the new black contemporary SuperTrax, but it's coming. Anyway, what is the SuperTrax? Well, it's a super tweeter, and super tweeters are nothing new. They've been around for a while, but this is very new because Dr. Paul came up with the brainwave of using the Tractrix profile for 360-degree dispersion characteristics. And anyone who knows the strength of Fyne Audio, we actually use that in our bass tracks diffuser system in the bottom, except it's the other way around. We control the bass firing downwards for the low frequency, and now we have this super tweeter which fires upwards into the diffuser, which turns plane wave energy into 360 degrees. So instead of it being very directional with very limited dispersion characteristics, now we have perfect dispersion characteristics. Always imagine dropping a stone or a pebble into a still pool of water. The rings will radiate out from that central point, which is exactly what happens. But it's even more impressive than that, because we're actually using a thin carbon ply diaphragm on the super tweeter. So it goes even higher. It goes up to about 60 kilohertz. So it's a very hard material.
We use the SuperTrax with other brand of the speaker.
Yeah, we only launched it 6 months ago, and we estimate that maybe a third of this new SuperTrax super tweeter has been used on various other models. It works. It just works. You can use it with anything, it will work. The advantage we're using it with a Fyne speaker is, other than it's better for us, but it has been designed in the sense that we will give you the exact measurement of where to set the SuperTrax super tweeter on the top of our speaker. Because again, I know I mentioned it, but I shall say it again, getting the acoustic center or the alignment of this and that is really important. So we give you the measurement on any Fyne speaker from exactly the right position to put it on the top. Now, if you're not using a Fyne speaker, that's fine. We will tell you how to work it out. Basically, on a lot of loudspeakers, with a tweeter or the HF on the front baffle, you just want to get it as far forward as possible. But with some other brands that use older point source drive units, you can roughly work out how far back to get the SuperTrax. It's not an exact science, but with Fyne products, it is an exact science, and it does make a difference. The whole point of the IsoFlare point source drive unit, remember, is time alignment. So it would be crazy not having the SuperTrax not also time aligned. So that's quite important. As I say, we don't quite have it here because we don't have the correct SuperTrax because it's just coming out. If we had a vintage model, I would definitely have it sitting on top of a.
And in this video, Mac, I will have the measurement table that
Yes.
you give to me.
Yes.
Insert in this video. Yeah.
Yeah.
And from the table that have the measurement of the position is calculated and measured by Dr. Paul, right?
Dr. Paul's worked it out.
Oh.
It's so easy to do, you know. So I can remember because I use this speaker at home myself. As I said, I know for a fact that the measurement for this model for the SuperTrax is 70 millimeters. So all you need to do is you measure with a rule from the front of the speaker to the front of the SuperTrax,
Very easy.
70 millimeters,
Yeah.
and then you know for sure
Yeah.
that the SuperTrax is exactly above and the vertical plane, the back of the isoflare drive unit. That's
I
it. So we
see.
will give you that measurement so you know how far back, whichever Fyne model you want to use.
Perfect.
So it's literally takes 3 seconds to do. All you need is the rule to measure. Simple. Obviously, we don't know on other brands exactly where it is, but you can kind of work it out and get it quite close. So no, it's good. The other thing that I really should have mentioned is that the older original 7 series that we launched in 2019, they were never available in natural walnut, you know, and now the 7 SP
the
series
special
are available
finishes.
product made on our top production line in Scotland. So you have the beauty of the original 7 series, you have the technology of the top F1 products, the you know, the crossover, the drive unit, the F1 plinth, but you also have the natural walnut from the vintage as well. So you have best of vintage, best of F1, and all the beauty of the 7 series in the 7.
For my personal taste, I love the natural walnut finishes.
Me too. Yeah, it's very good. The other things as well, that you know, you've got the black badge on the SP and some of the small details. It's ostensibly it's a product built on the 7 series cabinet, because that cabinet was already very good. It was already too good almost for the original 7 series the product without even realizing, you know, because it already was built in the same, exactly the same way, with exactly the same materials as the F1. So it was begging for a performance upgrade. And when all of our customers were saying, I want F1 performance, but in my beautiful 7 series cabinet, it was kind of obvious what we needed to do. And of course, we'd already been very successful with the special production upgrade on the 5 series. Yeah. So it was kind of, people already knew that we were doing this sort of thing.
And for the last
Absolutely.
topic, Max, would you please confirm that, as you can see in the measurement table, you can see that the start from the speaker model F703 SP, F703 SP up to the F1 series.
Yes.
Do you confirm? And do you think that if for Fyne Audio customer, if they add the SuperTrax, will there be the big improvement?
No, absolutely there will. There will be a big improvement for sure. It works categorically, but it's down to the individual whether he or she thinks a SuperTrax is affordable to put on a speaker. So honestly, what we have found already is that people are buying the SuperTrax on the bigger of the 5 SP models. So typically, I don't know whether we've got one here on this display. I can see a 501 SP, but definitely we have already sold a lot to people with a 502 SP.
F502 SP.
So I think the 502 SP, because of its value, because of where that price point is, that will be where people will generally start to buy and add the SuperTrax. Because of the price of the SuperTrax, if you have got, you know, a more budget product, you are probably better off actually just getting a better speaker, you know, and spend the money on getting an upgrade of speaker first. I was talking to a guy the other day in Hong Kong that actually had a pair of 501s, and he really wanted a SuperTrax. So his idea, it was like, but the customer's always right. So his idea was he was going to still get a SuperTrax Super Tweeter. He was going to use it on his 501s because he knows next year he's going to upgrade to one of our classic models. So he'll sell his 501s, he'll trade them in.
I see.
He's already got the SuperTrax ready to put onto the classic. So he's got a plan. But it doesn't really matter. The technology works. That's the point. You know, you can't argue against it because there's a lot of energy out there that can be measured all the way up to 100 kilohertz, which is way above what humans can hear. You know, that's way above what a dog or canine can even hear. It's not about that. It's about the energy that's out there that has an effect on the frequencies that we can hear. For the entire weekend in Hong Kong, I was doing demonstrations of with SuperTrax, without SuperTrax. And you could just see every time you could see the audience going, oh my God, yeah, I really could hear and feel that difference. It was like very clear. But then people are thinking, but how, if I can't actually hear it, if it is above my spectrum, how can I be telling such a difference? And it's because the difference the SuperTrax makes on what you can hear. It just creates that breathing space and allows like an atmosphere. Because there's lots of harmonics and sibilants and everything going on. So it's a great technology. It's not a new technology, as I said. Super tweeters have been around for a while, but kind of the whole point of a super tweeter, because of what it does, is using the Tractrix profile and the dispersion characteristics really does work for a super tweeter. So this model, as our friends in America will say, it's absolutely killing it. It's gone crazy, the sales on this.
Also, I have a customer that use the F702 SP. They really prefer this one. Now they buy it. They really love the SuperTrax. They see a big difference and improvement.
Absolutely. A big difference. Because the 502 SP is actually a very capable model. The SP, you know, the SP version of the 502, because that was based on the 702 originally. So the performance level is very high, but yes, in short, you can use it with any loudspeaker and it will make a difference. But the better the loudspeaker and the better you set it up and get it in the right position, the better the overall performance will be.
Max, thank you for your information. I think your idea, your recommendation is very important for Thai customer.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Before we are leaving for today, we have the Fyne Audio, all of the high-end series.
Yes.
Max, can you give a short introduction about all of the Fyne high-end series?
Yes, no, with my pleasure. So, quickly, if we go through it, we have the F1 flagship models, we have the beautiful 7 Series, and then we have the 500 SP models. So starting with the biggest and the best, really, the number one, this is the Fyne F712 It's just one of the best loudspeakers I've ever heard. It's just unbelievable. It's a point source drive unit, obviously, and it's built in this beautiful piano walnut cabinet, birch ply, full cryo treatment. It's just a work of art. And then this is the absolute top audiophile level. And then you come to the 7 Series, you have a 704 and a 703 here. So they are slightly less technically advanced, but they use a very similar cabinet construction. It's still birch ply. We're using the ISOFlare drive unit with its fine flute on the perimeter, bass tracks diffuser system in the bottom. Everything's turned down a little bit. The plinth isn't quite as advanced. It's not so heavyweight, but it's like junior audiophile product, I like to call the 7 Series, and I've used it myself. This is one of the big sellers at the moment, actually, the F18 floor standard. So we launched the bookshelf, which we have over there, actually, the F18. It's still to this day one of our biggest selling speakers. And now we have the floor standing version, which is very good. And then you come down a little bit to the super hi-fi series. This is the F5 SP models, which is fantastic value for money. Doesn't have a birch ply laminate cabinet. It's not an MDF cabinet, it's a high density fiberboard cabinet, but it still uses point source drive unit, fine flute. It has the bass tracks diffuser system in the bottom, and it has very clever grill storage, which we have invisible magnets on the rear, so you can take the grill off when you're listening and just attach the grills on the rear. So great value for money. And there's the bookshelf version of the 500 SP. At the other extreme to the big F702 S that we started with, we have the little baby, which is just so cute, but very capable as well, actually. If you've got a smaller room, be it a bedroom or a smaller listening room, because not everyone has a huge lounge the size of this room, it is amazing the performance you can get out of these guys. Very important to get them set up properly on a good solid stand or so they're not wobbling around, but they're really good. So top F1. It's called F1 by the way because it's Fyne's first ever speaker. We started off making this type of design. This is the very latest variation on it, but so that's the F1. They're all designed, they're all made in Scotland. Dr. Paul Mills is behind every single one. So there's voiced in the same manner from the same guy, using the same development skills. So yeah, very good.
ก็สำหรับวันนี้นะครับเราได้รับความรู้แล้วก็ได้รับคำแนะนำจากคุณแม็กมอสนะครับไม่ว่าจะเป็นการเปิดตัวสินค้าใหม่นะครับไฟล์ Classic Gold SP นั่นเองนะครับซึ่งเป็นรุ่นวินเทจรุ่นใหม่นะที่มาขั้นระหว่างรุ่นคลาสสิกแล้วก็รุ่นวินเทจนั่นคือไฟล์ Classic Gold SP จะอยู่ตรงกลางเลยระหว่างนี้นะครับซึ่งทำให้ลูกค้าเนี่ยสามารถตัดสินใจเลือกตาม price positioning หรือระดับราคาเนี่ยได้เลยนะครับเพราะว่าสินค้าตรงที่มาแทนตรงนี้เนี่ยเป็นระดับพรีเมียมที่คุณภาพเนี่ยใกล้เคียงกับรุ่นวินเทจเลยนะครับแล้วเราก็ได้เปิดตัวนะครับไฟล์ตระกูลรุ่น F703 SP และ F702 SP นะครับรุ่นใหม่ล่าสุดนั่นคือการยกระดับเหนือจากรุ่น F700 รุ่นเก่านั่นเองนะครับ SP เนี่ยคือ Special Production เป็นรุ่นพิเศษนะครับที่ว่าสำหรับรุ่นนี้นะครับใช้วัสดุเนี่ยอุปกรณ์วัตถุดิบแล้วก็วัสดุทั้งหมดเนี่ยเป็นของรุ่น F1 หมดเลย F1S นะที่เป็นรุ่นใหม่แล้วก็เป็นรุ่นแฟลกชิพรุ่นเรือธงนั่นเองนะครับคุณภาพเสียงของรุ่นนี้นะครับคุณแม็กซ์แล้วก็ทีมงานไฟล์นะครับแจ้งว่าแทบจะเหมือนกับไฟล์รุ่นตระกูล F1S เลยนะครับเพียงแต่ว่าเลือกที่จะใช้ตัวตู้เนี่ยในลักษณะของไฟล์ F700 ซีรีส์นั่นเองก็คือจะมีความเรียบยิ่งขึ้นนะครับจะมีความแบบเป็นโมเดิร์นคลาสสิกอาจจะไม่เป็นดีไซน์ที่แบบโดดเด่นเกินไปนะครับเป็นดีไซน์ที่แบบใครเห็นก็ชอบนะครับดูเรียบหรูดูหรูหราอลังการนะครับเป็นประติมากรรมนั่นเองแล้วก็เรามี SuperTrax Super Tweeter ด้วยซึ่งเทคโนโลยีของไฟล์ SuperTrax ตัวนี้เนี่ยถือว่าเป็น patented ก็คือเป็นเอกสิทธิ์เฉพาะไฟล์เลยนะครับเป็นการคิดค้นระบบใหม่นะครับที่จะยกระดับลำโพงไฟล์ทุกรุ่นก็ถือว่าเป็นเรื่องที่ดีและเป็นข่าวดีสำหรับเจ้าของลำโพงไฟล์ทุกรุ่นนะครับไม่ว่าจะเป็นรุ่น High End ขึ้นมา F500 SP ขึ้นมาถึง F700 Series นะครับรุ่นใหม่ F702 SP 703 SP และขึ้นมาถึง F1 Series แล้วก็ Vintage Classic ทั้งตระกูลเลยสามารถเสริมด้วยไฟล์ SuperTrax ที่เป็น Super Tweeter ระดับ Masterpiece ได้นั่นเองนะครับทั้งนี้คุณแม็กเนี่ยยังกล่าวว่าถ้าเราได้ลองฟังเทียบนะครับระหว่างเสริม SuperTrax แล้วก็เอาออกนะครับจะเห็นความแตกต่างที่ชัดเจนเลยนะครับแน่นอนว่าอย่าได้ลองฟังเลยถ้าลองเนี่ยผมรับประกันว่าต้องเสียตังค์แน่นอนนะครับสำหรับตัวนี้ก็สำหรับวันนี้นะครับเราต้องขอบคุณมากๆเลยแล้วก็ special thanks to Max to introduce all the new product today and I hope you enjoy everything in Thailand. You have something to say to Thai customer?
I love being in Thailand and I especially like working with Audio Force, our partner here. They do a great job and they're big supporters of Fyne Audio, so we really appreciate that. So thank you to everyone out there for all the support, and if anyone ever has any questions, go and speak to your local dealer, to Audio Force, and we'll always be glad to help. Thank you very much.
ครับและสำหรับท่านที่สนใจนะครับลำโพงไฟล์ทุกรุ่นในวันนี้นะครับก็สามารถสอบถามหรือสั่งซื้อเข้ามาได้ที่ทั้ง Audio Force แล้วก็ช่องทางดีลเลอร์ทั่วประเทศไทยทั้งหมดได้เลยครับโอเควันนี้ขอลาไปก่อนนะครับสวัสดีครับสวัสดีครับ
to me. Too late, my time has come. Sends shivers down my spine, body's aching all the time. Goodbye, everybody. I've got to go. Gotta leave you all behind and face the truth. Mama, I don't wanna die. I sometimes wish I'd never been born at all. Oh, baby, can't do this to me, baby. Just gotta get out, just gotta get out.